Hi, beautiful soul family. Welcome back to Remember Who the Fuck You Are So the Game Can Change, the podcast that is here to step things up, to wake you up, to shift you, to possibly trigger you, and to help you come back to who you truly are. So let's dive into this week's episode. Okay, my love. So my dad and the journey that I have embarked on with him, and the soul contracts that have been there in place, and what he has opened up for me along my journey. So I really want to delve into, I loved my dad. I idolized my dad. I was daddy's little girl. I have two brothers, one older, one younger. So I was the only girl. I was the only daughter. And I was daddy's little girl, in a way. That's how I wanted it to be. That's how I longed for it to be. And there were snippets, there were moments where I was, and he would take me. We had a market, one. We had a market, it was called Ranella Market, and it's like Central Markets in Adelaide, or Melbourne Market, or different markets around the world that are always there, mainly open on the weekends. Tourists, they have little shops that always there, type of thing. So my dad would take me to Ranella Markets every now and again, just him and I. It would be a massive thing for him to buy me an ice cream, because he was so health conscious, and really watched his weight, and in turn was also watching everyone else's. So for him to say yes for me to have an ice cream was a big thing, and made me feel so special, and so important, and so loved, and so cherished. Just a simple little thing of an ice cream. So I remember just going there and walking around with him, and it wasn't anything really special, but it meant everything. He would come on. I was heavily involved in basketball, up to playing and training 6 times a week, and I remember him coming to carnivals. We would travel all over South Australia, and then also into Victoria, and then we even went to nationals in Newcastle, New South Wales. And I remember him coming along. I want to say sparingly, though. What I really remember is my mum being there through it all, and different aspects and different avenues and different roles, whether that be manager or scorer or supporter. So my dad played a really interesting role growing up for me, and I don't know about you and how you remember your childhood, but I really don't remember much, which kind of sucks, to be honest. I wish I could remember. I was having a conversation with my younger brother. So when I went to Adelaide, I went and stayed with him. I can't remember what I've said in the first episode, but for those who haven't watched it, listen to it. When I travelled back to Adelaide to see my dad for the last time, I say with my younger brother, and having conversation with him about our childhood and what we remember. And his takeaways were so much more than mine. He remembered so much more than I did. He would say, "Oh, remember when?" I'm like, I have no recollection. None whatsoever. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, but you remember?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And that is just a trauma response, right? It is our coping mechanism of being able to get through what we endured and what was going on. And yeah, my childhood was certainly different to my brother's. And what we experienced was certainly different. No better, no worse, just different. So yeah, my dad, unfortunately, I don't remember too much good stuff. I don't remember like fun that we had. Like, I just remember being in mum's side, not like not picking sides. That happened eventually, but I was always just with mum. I was always like mum's shadow. Dad used to love fishing, and we used to have a boat, quite a big one. I don't remember, 18 foot maybe. And then along the years, he then sold that and got a dinghy. So we would go out fishing, which was lovely. And it wasn't about going fishing. It was just about spending time with Dad. That is what I craved, is having that time with him. And that's what I found I had to do, was for me to spend time with him was to do what he liked. Not what I liked, but what he liked. So fishing in my teens was something that we would do. Or I remember going on a couple of trips. Mama stayed home and Dad took us for drives, and we would stay with his work at the time. They had like a I want to say like a timeshare type of thing, where you could go and visit and go and stay at places, maybe discounted or free, I'm not really sure. So we would go there, but it would just be with Dad. It wouldn't be with Mum as well. It was very segregated, thinking back on it now. So yeah, it wasn't your typical loving family. It wasn't your typical everyone does things together. And I'm not surprised looking back now, because my dad and his family are not family orientated. Not the way I experienced it anyway. It wasn't a loving environment. It wasn't it just wasn't the same energy that my mum and her family had. Family meant everything to them, and unfortunately with my dad and his family, it wasn't. It was just keeping up appearances. It was just yeah, it was just exactly that, keeping up appearances and putting on a show. And yeah, so sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness me, completely lost my train of thought. So yeah, I wish I had better memories. I wish I had different memories. I wish we had a family that was connected. And the thing though is that because I didn't have that, you can go two of one way. two of two ways, whatever. With me and my family that I have right now, you can either choose to do the same or do different. So I've chosen with my internal family, my husband, my kids, is to really build a tightness within us, a bond within us. For my husband to do things with his sons, but also do things with his daughters. And whether it is just taking him to Macca's and getting an ice cream, or taking him down the street when he goes shopping, or taking him to their sport. Now looking back, I can see how important those were. Just that time, or taking him to the beach, doing things that they love. Even my oldest son is going through wanting to go to church and youth group, and that's obviously not something that interests me, and I get and I've said to him, look, you do you, bud. Like, if you want to go down that path, go for it. Like, they have some great teachings. You have my teachings too, and you know where I stand and what I believe in, but you need to find what you believe in. And then he was kind of unsubtly asking and saying, oh, you should come, Mum, you should come, Mum. And I decided, you know what? Let's go, because it's something that he's interested in, right? And he loved us going. So it's taking those moments that it's not just all about you, and it's about them too. Now, we are building our own soul family because we don't have connection with the other family, the extended family, grandparents, aunties, uncles, just because we're choosing different. We're choosing healthy options rather than just keeping up appearances. So yeah, like my dad tried his best. My dad gave what he could give in the moment and in the time and in the space that he was in. Do I wish it could have been more? Fuck yes. Do I wish it could have been healthier? Absolutely. That's where lies my learning, my opportunity, my lesson in doing things differently for my family and my kids, and changing the script that once was to now, what do I want? What do I want for my kids? And in that, I know my kids are going to go, oh, Mum, like, you could have done this better. You could have done that better. Absolutely. And yeah, I could have. Yeah, if I had have known better, I would have done better. And yes, you're right. Like, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. It's about giving yourself that grace, forgiving those who could have done better but didn't know how to do better. It's about honouring what you can do, and then also accepting what you could have done better. When the time comes, when they are at their stage of like, oh, you know what, Mum, like, this is what I remember. And this is how it made me feel. And owning that and apologising for that and accepting your role in that. And also accepting their role in that. That's their journey to choose to do the same or do something different and change the script for their kids. So yeah, it's challenging parenting, right? It's so challenging, and it's you're never going to get everything right. You're not meant to get everything right, because if you are, then what is there to change? What is there to evolve? What is there to look upon and analyze and change and adapt and grow for our kids, right? So I just wanted to just come on and just give a little lightheartedness and little learnings, because this is a heavy one. This is it's a tough one to go back to and to reassess and to bring up, and the triggers that it may be bringing up for you, or the thoughts, or the emotions, the memories that it will be bringing up for you as well, can be tough. And I just want you to know that, like, I see you and I feel you and I hear you, and I'm here with you. I hope that this also gives you a takeaway, and I hope that this also gives you a like, oh, yeah, maybe I can forgive them. Maybe they did it that way because that's all they knew. That's all that they could give in that moment. That's all that they were doing their best too. And they were also changing the script for what had happened to them too, and for them. So even though it wasn't what I would have wanting or looking for or needed, thought I needed, it's exactly what you needed to step into and step up to, and to realign and to reassess and to look at what you're doing and how that's impacting your kids. And is there something that you can change? Is there something that you can do differently, or realign to? Or I'm just seeing like a ship in the night where they're off course and they just need to get back on course. If this is your spark of inspiration to do that, then I'm so grateful. So grateful. So with my dad, a really big pivotal moment that has shaped me in more ways than one, and that certainly wasn't nice, and but also at the end of the day is exactly what was needed. It was a moment in time when I'm not sure how old I was, but it would have been somewhere between maybe like 11 and 13, something along there, because my parents were still together. And yeah, it was before they separated and divorced. So I'd gone to the local corner shop with my dad to pick up something, I'm not sure what. And we were sitting there. And at that moment, my mum, who'd always been beautiful, confident, loved her fashion, loved her jewelry, loved dressing up, loved putting makeup on, was just, I don't say healthy weight, but healthy for her. And I'd noticed a change in my mum. I'd noticed that she wasn't excited about getting dressed anymore. She wasn't excited about dressing up, or she'd lost her spark. So, and she'd lost her spark and was going through a stage in her life where she had gained some weight, which is totally okay. And with what she would have been dealing with emotionally, completely understandable. And so I was there sitting in the car with my dad. We just pulled up, and he was talking about mum. I can't remember exactly what he was talking about, but what happened was a mum and a daughter walked in front of our car and past our car. And my dad not only had this thought, but then in that moment decided it would be a good idea to voice out loud this thought, which changed so much for me. He said, and I kid you not, he said, "I wish that was you and your mum." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I wish you were bigger and your mum was smaller." Because at that stage I was very slender, obviously so much basketball, a kid. I was very athletic build, and then obviously mum, as I was saying, had put on some weight. And I was just dumbfounded that my dad, as I said, had that thought of, oh, wow, that mum looks good. I wish that was my wife. To, oh, hang a minute, Kira looks like the mum and the mum looks like my wife. Oh, wouldn't that be cool if it was the reverse? But then to say it out loud to a 11, 12, 13-year-old, whatever I was, to have someone that you love, that you are craving approval from, craving attention from, craving love from, craving anything from, to be seen by him, to be in his awareness. And he says that to me. And do you know what the heartbreaking thing is? Is I gave him my part of that deal. I took on that as something that I unconsciously would do for years. I started to gain weight. Maybe I started watching what my mum ate and I would do the same. I started slowly backing away from basketball, not caring as much, to rebelling when it come to food, to rather than saying, fuck you, I will do the opposite. I unconsciously said, okay, if that's what you want, Daddy, if that's what will make you love me more, if that's what will make you see me more, whew, I will do that for you. And that's where my obsession with food come. And in that moment also, I just had a little bit of a spark of inspiration and spark of guidance, is that in that moment, sorry, in that moment, I also saw my dad see and say that a young girl who had weight on her made her less attractive. I always said that I put on the weight because of the abuse I received. And unconsciously thinking that if I have the weight on, no one will want me. I didn't realise, I didn't put two and two. I didn't put two and two together until today. That's where it's come from. Because even though I endured all that abuse, I never once thought about that. I never once worried about that. I knew how beautiful I was. I knew how amazing my body was. I had a beautiful set of boobs, beautiful waist, hips. And I gained attention everywhere I went from boys. Even to the point where I was on school camp and there was another school there. And a boy from the other school noticed me, was very attracted to me. And it wasn't until years later, I think I was maybe 18, 19, 20. And I had a phone call at home, and it was just a telemarketer. And I said my name, hi, Kira, here. And he's like, so did you say your name was Kira? And I said, yeah. And he goes, did you go to Carrara Primary School? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh my goodness. And he remembered, it was a dude from then. And he remembered me. And that blew my mind. So my dad's words that day shaped decades for me of wanting to and feeling like I needed to put weight on so then I wasn't attractive. Put weight on to please him. I'm just, at the moment, sorry, I'm a little bit like, oh my God. That's where it come from. Just that one, in his mind, maybe, or very possibly maybe not. I was going to say flyaway comment, but also very calculated comment. Had such an impact. And it's only now that I have removed myself from a community that was so toxic, a community where I need to be in survival mode, and that's both Adelaide and also in Gippsland. It's only now here in Wollongong where I've been able to have a fresh start, to move out of survival mode and into thriving mode. And the weight that I have had for so long has just been falling off effortlessly. I haven't changed anything. And yet it is crazy, the way my body has changed, because I'm out of that survival mode, and also uncovering and doing the deep healing work and the uncovering each layer that is helping me release the stored up emotions and inflammation in my body. So thank you for being on here today. Thank you for allowing me to uncover that layer for me, for following me on this journey, and hopefully getting some takeaways and some light bulb moments and aha moments that spark layers for you, healing opportunities for you, lessons, and places where you can start rewriting your script. So with that, I will leave that there. I am so very grateful for those who are joining again and following along this journey. And if you've come across this today, then hi. Thank you. And please feel free to go back and have a look at other episodes. Also check out my YouTube, Kira Marie Divinely Guided, that has plenty of activations and more insights, and also Facebook and Instagram. All right, my loves. So thank you again for joining me today for the part 2 part 2 of 2, and please stay tuned next week for the final, what I believe is the final chapter of my dad and my journey back to Adelaide, and seeing him for the last time before he crosses over. He's yet to cross over yet, and see what comes up for me in that journey, and what takeaways I had and healing opportunities. All right, my loves, sending you so much love, so much light, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode today. Remember that your power has always been within you. The moment you start trusting yourself, the whole game changes. If you love this episode, comment below or DM me on Instagram and let me know your biggest takeaway. Why not even screenshot it and tag me at Kira Marie Divinely Guided or Ascension School, and I will share your love. To find out what Spirit has in store for us for next week's episode, stay tuned and subscribe. Remember, keep rising, keep remembering, and watch the game change. Until next time, love you, soul family. Bye. It's the soundtrack to my soul's heat, making me move from my head